You're listening to This Week in E-commerce, the Ecom Nation podcast. Dive into the top online retail headlines with your hosts, Paul Waddy and Mal Chia. Let's load up the cart.
This Week in E-commerce, episode 64. I remember the episode number this time. Paul, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Looking, we're getting closer to the end of the year, and I guess when people listen to this, they'll probably be well and truly in amongst their cyber sales. So thanks for taking the break to listen to me and Mal.
Yeah, we had some good responses to the last episode, actually, because I think we kind of broke down some of the sales we were seeing and got some feedback of that was really interesting what Muscle Nation or this other brand was doing, and people asking for advice. So that was good to know that we're putting out content which is relevant and what people want to hear at this time.
Yep, and it's funny. We sort of shout out certain people, and it kind of gets back to them, and we try and generally take a really positive angle on e-com. So it's good that people are enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of things which are happening at the moment, did you watch the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, I'm going to use air quotes here, fight?
Well, you've displayed your hand early then. In terms of what you thought. Yeah, I was at a wedding. We had a wedding, and luckily, as soon as I sat down, the guy next to me already had it out on his phone. Oh, no, that's on you. Yeah. It's what we hoped it wouldn't be, I think, but kind of knew it would. And it's sad because Mike Tyson was a great boxer that would kind of literally stop the world back 20 years ago, whenever. I don't know. I thought it was rigged. The part that got me was he's 58 and he's slow and whatever, but he was so slow. But it was more than that. Anyone who watches boxing knows that in the last round, if you know that you're down, you got to go for a knockout. And if just go back and watch the last 30 seconds, he does not even throw a punch.
Yeah.
He does not even throw a punch. So I can understand Jake Paul not wanting to throw a punch because he was up and probably didn't want to hurt him or whatever, but Mike Tyson did not even throw a punch. And as I said, if you're down in boxing in the last round, you go all in. Like some of the undercards, last round was absolutely crazy. So that for me was telling. He was just there bobbing around and taking money basically, which is boxing, right?
Yeah, I definitely saw a lot of people who I wouldn't expect. I was at a family gathering yesterday, and literally every adult had gone out of their way to watch the fight. Some had never watched boxing before, and this is the very first time. So they tuned in at 11:30 or 12 o'clock whenever the broadcast started, and they were waiting for hours. And I said, "Yeah, there's an undercard." And they didn't even know there was an undercard because they had never watched boxing before. So as a spectacle, it definitely captured the imagination of people from all walks of life who wanted to watch it. But the fight itself, like the undercard fights were pretty decent, but the main event was terrible. It was Jake Paul wailing on an old man. And like you said, Mike Tyson just couldn't do anything. He was so slow, and he maybe connected on a couple of punches in the first or second round, but then it was just an absolute farce, I thought. And leading up to it, though, the marketing was brilliant with everything which Netflix put out there. They put their little documentary together, and then they also had all those little clips of like Mike Tyson training, and he looked like an animal. He looked like a beast in training. Yeah, watching that, going like, where was that?
Yeah, for 3 seconds on 1.5 speed, he looked really. But where was it? Yeah, like that's social media, isn't it? Like those clips were clearly him going for 3 seconds, 4 seconds, but he didn't even display any of that. He didn't go after him at all. He looked faster when he slapped Jake Paul at the weight. He really did. But you made a good point, though. The marketing was outstanding, and hats off to Jake Paul. Like Jake Paul's promoted it, so whatever it's called, most valuable promotions, I think, is his business. And you got to say, like, he's a good marketer, and so his job's done. Whether or not you like him, whether or not you think he's a good fighter or not, whether or not he's just trolling us all. He's an amazing marketer, and you're right. The production was phenomenal. The fact that it's the biggest fight in history, he is very good at what he does, and hats off to him, because for them it worked. For us, we might be disappointed. I'm sure they're both pretty happy counting their dollars today.
Look, I think it's the big winner is Netflix as well. Like Netflix, obviously, broadcasted, paid a lot of money to put this thing on, but it would have been a lot of eyeballs just on there, and they were promoting Netflix properties throughout the entire thing. There was Squid Games, which was being promoted. You could see that on the side. They had the Dallas cheerleaders documentary. They were also promoting that. Looks like at the end of the day, it's like Netflix got all the viewers they wanted. They showed that they can put something on which is real proper prime time entertainment. Which and you see like the streaming networks kind of going into that space now as well. By being able to create like true events, not just like streaming on demand events, but like live real time cultural moments, regardless of how good it is.
Yeah, like Stan here going into boxing as well with Tyson, Pedro, and G'd Up. So it'd be really interesting to see as well that dynamic, because you've always had to pay for boxing pay-per-view, and it's gotten out of hand, $60 a pop, and sometimes it's a 30-second fight. But it'll be really interesting to see what happens now with the streaming guys. If that's it, they just do it for free in the hopes that more people will sign up long-term and get that lifetime value. But it disrupts the entire model of pay-per-view. So it will be interesting to see if the streamers continue just allowing their clients to, because that's how they've always worked. Like, we've got the Soccer World Cup, or we've got the Rugby World Cup. Sign up and you can watch it. I I subscribe to just about all of the streaming channels. That's the new model. But yeah, long may it continue, this disruption of pay-per-view.
You look at Amazon. Amazon are investing in NFL, but also NBA as well. A lot more live sport coming to some of these other streamers. So a lot of disruption happening in the space, and I think cable, whether it be Foxtel or all the cable networks in the US, are going to continue to fade into irrelevancy. It's just it's an outdated business model.
Yeah, amen.
Now, looking at Black Friday so far, it's like you mentioned before, we're seeing quite a few sales which have kicked off already. What are your thoughts so far with what you've seen?
Obviously, with some of our clients, I've been super impressed by them and our team, I must say. But Who is Elijah kicked off, and just they won't mind me saying, but Adam and from Who's Elijah and Casey, obviously at our team now, were at one point testing something like 1,100 ads. And that was the strategy, really throw it far and wide and then refined it right in. But they had an enormous day, in the millions on day one. I think we spoke to Zane at Maison de Sabre, who's on track for a month that's just going to be in the multiple millions, and really good margins. So in our group, I think those guys have done it really, really well. I think there'll be a whole another batch going today and onwards, Mal. So I really expect today, 18th, people will watch this later, but I think that it'll be another big onslaught today. But been impressed by those guys. What have you seen?
Yeah, about the same. Like really good results from all the retailers who we work with. I think a lot of it is just a testament to proper planning, as well, and actually not just rushing through an offer for the sake of it, but really taking the time to really think about what that offer is, making sure that you're going through those stages of a promotion, that initial hype and tease stage, to then launching it, to then sustaining it, and then finishing it strong as well. So obviously with a lot of brands right now, that are in that launch stage of their Black Friday sale, but really it's capitalizing on all the work which was done before. Like if you look at Who is Elijah, it didn't just happen on the day. It didn't just happen on Thursday. It actually happened a week and a half ago, was when the activity really started to ramp up across every single channel to kind of build that momentum. And with a lot of the other brands who we work with who've done really well, they've done the same thing. They're really focusing on hyping the sale up now. Muscle Republic doing a big hype stage at the moment. By the time this goes live, their sale would have launched. They're predicting some really great numbers for that. But really, that's been in the planning for about 3 months now. When we first started working on that campaign, it's about the last week and a half where we've actually started that hype phase. But it's all building up towards that momentum. So I think with those brands where they're really just getting their audience primed for it across the top and middle of the funnel, then it's just capitalizing on that demand. And I think the guys who we've seen now do really well are have done that really expertly to kind of build that hype and the demand, and then come out with a really strong offer as well. The quintessential Godfather offer, which you can't refuse, and we're seeing that.
What about as a consumer? Are you waiting for anyone? Have you got your eye on anyone that you're going to snap up?
Me, appliances online. I need a new dishwasher.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for that, and also doing all my Christmas shopping as well. So my wife and I have made our lists for everyone, and are going out there and have purchased already from for a couple of presents. But we've got a lot more which we need to buy this period.
Yeah, I'll have a bit of a sneaky look at Amazon today, I think.
Yep, they've got their sale starting tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay,
yep, 19th to the 2nd.
I knew you'd be across that. All right, 19th to the 2nd. So they're going to have a massive one, I think. Probably keep an eye on Axel Arigato to see if they have a little sale. Although I predict that they won't, but they did last year, so we'll see. And then yes, of course, Christmas presents for the kids and so on.
Interesting. I saw the G'd Up, like they've done 2 Black Friday launches so far, and both have gone extremely well, and they're not actually discounting anything.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's really just back to their old price. Sold out in 10 minutes, 300 grand plus on one hoodie, same as the Friday before. And then they have an amazing collection on on this Friday, right? Is it 24th?
No, it's next Friday.
29th.
Yeah.
They've got a really cool range dropping on the 29th, so it's going to be different, and I think that's going to be an enormous day. But you're right, they've sort of gone a little bit different to sort of say, well, let's wow them with some of our best designs ever and bring back our pricing to where it was, and you got to be quick because 10 minutes and it was gone. No ad spend at all, so straight to the brand.
But similarly, I think it's another thing where it's about the investment you're making into building the audience. So yes, there was no ad spend behind actually launching the collection, but all the work which has been going on for like the last 12, 24 months in terms of just like developing that top and middle of the funnel to get them ready to buy. So when they actually do drop something which is amazing, that audience is just ready to lap it up.
Yeah, they've acquired, as we know, a lot of customers over the last 6 months or to a year, really, and so dropping one of those key styles, it was just a feeding frenzy. There's thousands of units gone in 10 minutes. So
they can't call it sharks or sharkies because that is Black Milk's thing, as I've found out. The feeding frenzy which happens when they do their drops.
Is that right? Sharkies is what
they're called sharkies. I found that out from Jackie the other day.
Sharkies. Okay.
Yeah, and it's always good advice, like when you have like your fan club or or your most loyal supporters, to actually give them a name, to actually call them something. Yeah, because people want to feel like they're part of something, and they call them sharkies. They do collections just for the sharkies, and it's just a great way just to make people feel like they're part of a community. I think Black Milk do that extremely well. Keisha do that incredibly well with their Keisha Club.
Yeah,
it's a good way to acknowledge people for their loyalty.
Challenge for Jake. Think of a name for the G'd Up followers. I can think of
it. That's right. All right, and now we're going to continue on in the tradition of actually talking about some really positive news, because some great news to come out of the Australian retail scene the other day is that Quadlock, makers of the really innovative and unique phone holders, or just general holders for anything which you want, they've been acquired for 500 million. So they were private equity backed by Quadrant. Quadrant have offloaded a majority stake in the business for $500 million to Swedish luxury product group Thule Group, who are themselves makers of outdoor adventure gear. Paul, this is a phenomenal story. I actually know a couple of people. Adrian from Quadlock I know quite well, and have been speaking to them for a number of years now, and seen quite a few case studies. They're just a brand which just continue to grow and continue to innovate in their space, and just know exactly what lane they want to play in, and they just have this world-leading product. And to see this happen, it's fantastic. It happened and took 13 years to happen. They launched with a Kickstarter in 2011, and now they're exiting the business or selling it in 13 years later for $500 million. That's a phenomenal achievement.
500 million, yeah, 80% of that in cash. So that's nice. And 20% payment in shares in Thule. Yeah, agreed. Had little conversations over the years with some of the people at Quadlock, and I remember first coming across them, maybe in 2016 or 17. And I was like, never heard of them. And they're like, yeah, we're doing 100 mil or something. I was like, you're doing what? With phone cases or phone holders? And they were super cool. But you're right, they just knew what they were doing. They also an element of right time, right place, but a lot of R&D, very cool products. I think they just nailed it, and that's a huge deal. Like $500 million, like that's an incredible success story. Yeah, absolutely. Well done to the founders. Well done to everyone involved in the group. Oh my goodness, yeah.
But it's really a testament to just great product. I know you're a real product guy. Just the importance of actually having like an innovative product, in market, something which is genuinely really fucking good in its category. Not just settling for something. Like their product is legitimately awesome. Like I've had the pleasure of playing around with one. I haven't bought one, but I know quite a few people with Quadlocks for their bikes where they've got their phone attached to it, and they swear by it. They would not use any other mount for their phone when they're riding, because they're just like, there's nothing better than the Quadlock.
Yeah, and like if you check out their site, like just a really good site as well. 20,000 reviews. They've got UGC in the form of, or social proof in the form of ambassadors like Oscar Piastri and Shane Van Gisbergen. Guys like this, they've really invested heavily into that outdoorsy. Even if you look at their photo shoot or their campaign, the world's best adventure case. I love that. It's straight to the point. You know what they do. The video, the creative is amazing. And they just go all in, for those that don't know, mostly on the outdoorsy sort of stuff. They do have an everyday range as well, but they really go hard into like motorcycle, cycle, off-road, marine, and they've just doubled down on that. Like they've got here boat for your boat, for your jet. You can have a holder for your phone in your jet, one for your bike, one for your...
I'll make sure I buy one now for my jet, Paul.
One for your do's for when you do that, Mal. But you're right. Like they just found a niche. They went all in. It's like if you are buying a phone accessory to hold while you're bumping around, you will buy it from these guys. But even just from an e-com point of view, like go to the site. It's amazing. The shoots are great. Like they've made it look super cool and elevated. I just think these guys have nailed it.
And you made a really good point just then. Like the world's best adventure case. You go there, you know exactly what you're going to get. They're really clearly explaining what their point of differentiation is. Like we are the world's best adventure case. So if you are into that sort of rugged lifestyle, you're in the right place. It's not really then going, well, I'm going to compare this and maybe an OtterBox or this or that. It's just like, well, actually, you know what? I only want this because I'm an adventure person. I'm going to take this out to parts unknown. So I want a case which is going to be able to suit my lifestyle. And I think they've just done that incredibly well across everything, like from the ambassadors they have, the marketing which they do, the website. It's just so clear exactly what they're for, and for Thule to buy them as well. Like they just fit Thule's market. That's exactly what Thule's trying to do. And interestingly enough, was like, I didn't realize that Thule were only 5%. Like I'm not their target market, but I'm familiar with the name, and I didn't realize that they were only 5% of the market. So suddenly this gives them a real gateway to be able to hopefully grow their share in Australia.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Like if you think about that sort of 6 seconds, like 5 or 6 seconds to tell people what you do, they've nailed it. Like the world's best adventure case. Like I always say that skinny thighs in 30 days. Like you know exactly what you're going to get, and then you look at the creative, and the creative supports that. It's the most ridiculously insane angle of a cabin perched on the edge of a cliff. Then you scroll down as Formula One, BMX, fishing. Like they are just all in there, and you either relate instantly or you don't. Look.
And if you don't, you're probably not their customer.
Exactly right. But huge news. Well done to Quadlock.
All right, another brand which has done incredibly well is one of my favorite brands, which is Vuori. So I love my activewear, and I've tried them all. And two of my favorite brands, in addition to Lululemon and obviously Muscle Republic, is also Vuori. So Vuori, primarily in the US, they've been around for about 7-8 years now and grown incredibly in that period of time. They recently announced that they have taken on an investment of $825 million, led by General Atlantic, who, from those who might remember, actually own 20% of Gymshark, and Stripes. This is in addition to a couple of years ago, they took a $400 million investment from SoftBank and Masayoshi Son. So they now have a valuation of $5.5 billion for an activewear brand. And this is another one where, similar to Quadlock, they're just really clear about who their customer is. Like they're really aiming for that luxury activewear customer. And they've done such an incredible job over the last few years of building that market. When everyone thought it was Lulu and everyone else, to be able to start growing and starting to eat away at Lulu's share, but actually Lulu continues to grow as well. So showing that there's a real appetite for people to trade up to their products.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've never heard of these guys, Vuori, and so I had to do a little bit of research. It's interesting to see that it started as a men's brand and now is 50-50. But it seems to target people who transition from, as they say, workout wear to everyday wear. And that category just appears to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It also says that the US athleisure market is projected to grow at a compound annual rate of some 7%. So that just, again, we've seen domestically, like I think you just mentioned Muscle Republic, who's had phenomenal growth. We know about your Muscle Nations or your LSKDs and so on, but that just is a massive category, isn't it? Like we've seen PE Nation do well and maybe a bit tougher lately, but there is enormous revenue in that category, isn't it? Like it's got to be.
It just keeps growing.
It just keeps growing. So it's got to be coming at the expense of other stuff. Like you would have to think that maybe more formal stuff or jeans or whatever is coming down. But that category, I remember seeing an AusPost report that it was by far the fastest growing e-commerce category. It was still smaller than women's fashion, but it was growing much faster probably during COVID and beyond. And it's still going. I shudder to think where your brands like, here again, Vic at Muscle Republic, where that could end up in 5 years, because particularly if you crack the US market, they just love this stuff. And so I've never seen you've known about Vuori. Have you tried?
I own several Vuori pieces. I've got some joggers, I've got some shorts, some tees. It's fantastic. It's right up there with Lulu quality, just like the most softest, breathable material. The quality, the manufacturing is just really it feels like a really premium product. So I'm a huge fan of it. And over the last couple of years as well, they've started to expand away from just purely being in the gym to actually being about lifestyle as well. So they've got a lot of products which you can very comfortably wear, from the gym, but also just out to get a coffee or even just like out to the office. And you can see it with some of their new styles as well. They're kind of formal chino-ish looking shorts, but with like a real activewear, premium activewear type of twist. And I think they just nail that market so well, because there's space there, and then they don't often discount. I don't think I've ever seen them discount, but they really put a strong focus on just the quality of the product and the fabrics they use. They've got their own proprietary fabrics, and really investing in showing people the value of it, that it is worth $150 to buy some shorts, because the shorts are amazing, and they legitimately are amazing. And now I'm thinking about it, I will probably end up buying another pair of Vuori shorts at some stage. I can never get enough gym shorts.
Yeah, well, I'm on the site now, and you're right. Like it does fuse that athleisure with kind of casual wear pretty well. $255 for a jacket, so they're not missing you. They do see you and they hear you. But 20% off for your first order, though, Mal. So
no, I didn't see that. I probably don't see that because I've already signed up.
Looks good.
But they've also invested recently into bricks and mortar as well. So they've got a number of bricks and mortar stores across the US. I'd love to see them expand into Australia. Give Lulu a bit of run for their money, and Lulu's continue to grow as well, along with Alo Yoga as well, who are making a big push. So it seems like that premium space, and similar to what we've been talking about for a couple of years now, that luxury market, that higher end of the market, at the bottom end of the market is what's growing at the moment. You can see the brands like Kmart and Anko continue to grow, but also at the top end of the market, Lulu, Vuori, Alo Yoga, these brands are continuing to grow as well. And well done to them. They know a niche in the market, and people who do want to invest and look after themselves and make sure they buy something which is quality and is going to last, are clearly making that investment. Are looking to actually trade up and get something which is better than just some of the mid-tier brands, which there's quite a few of.
Yeah, it's cool. This looks cool. I see they've trademarked the Dream Knit shorts. So obviously, as you said, their own proprietary products here. So next level R&D. But that pair of shorts has 6,000 reviews, Mel. So
I'm one of those reviews.
Yeah, 4-way stretch. Okay, well, look.
Yeah, they're great shorts. I've got 2 pairs of the of their core shorts.
Okay, all right. Well, Might have to give them a go. They got about 12 colours of it, so there's plenty of options.
But that's also it as well. It's not just coming out with like brand new products over and over again. It's just new colorways, new this, new that, and they've still got the staple like black and blues and things like that. But you just release fresh colors each season. There's no need to reinvent the wheel when you have a winning product.
Interesting. Okay, Vuori. All right, good tip, Mal. I'll have to obviously making lots of money, but I'll have to check them out product wise.
And interesting that General Atlantic, who also invest in Gymshark, have also tipped in, part of the $850 million investment into Vuori, and which is curious. You might be interested in this as well. It's on a 5 times on earnings.
5 times on earnings on EBITDA.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry, on sales, on
revenue.
Revenue, yeah, it's 5 times revenue is the valuation, which is massive. It's absolutely gigantic in retail.
I shudder when I hear that because like all these little stores will be, see, it's multiples of revenue.
Yeah,
when you're like the best.
When you're them, yeah. When you've got their numbers, you can be 5 times a multiple on revenue. But when you're smaller, it's going to be on EBITDA.
Yeah. Good on them. These look great. Like checking out the shoes, $280. So it's like, it's not like premium, particularly with the footwear. Like prices looks achievable, but they look great. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, check them out. All right, that's all we have time for this week. Next week, we'll be getting ready with our actual Black Friday prep episode. Not sure what we'll talk about, but I'm sure we'll find a few things. In the meantime, good luck with everyone and your sales. May they be successful. May your margins be healthy, and may your MER not be too high.
I love that, Mal.
I think you said it a couple of weeks ago, so I think I just totally ripped off your closer.
I said last year something like, may your spirits be high and your costs low or something.
Yeah. All right, that's all we've got time for. We'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.